That was the same reaction the jury had when they saw it. Not surprisingly, when all this evidence was finally presented, including John Thompson's testimony that explained he didn't kill Mr. Liuzza, and the way he got the ring and the gun was he bought it from Kevin Freeman, it took the jury only 35 minutes to select a foreperson, get organized, do all the things that juries have to do, and to find John Thompson not guilty. And so on May 10th, 2003, John Thompson walked out of jail a free man for the first time in 18 years. I want to talk about a couple of things that relate to John and that are sort of overarching messages, because it's a great story, but in many respects, the story of the case pales in comparison to the story of John Thompson. When John was released from jail, one of the amazing things for me was to watch the reactions of his two sons. Basically, for the entirety of their conscious lives, their father had been a convicted murderer, and they loved him, but there was this unresolved thing about his being a convicted murderer. It was an amazing thing for me to see that stigma released completely from them. The sense that, you know what, we loved our dad, and we thought he was a good guy, and we thought he was decent, and we couldn't understand this other thing. The thing that they couldn't understand was completely removed. And you could watch that happen literally before your eyes. Today, what's John doing? He's the founder and director of something called Resurrection After Exoneration. And what John decided, he was fortunate enough to have a number of people that really cared about him. The people at Morgan Lewis, people down in New Orleans, and we all were very concerned about making sure that John did well after he left prison. And so he had a bit of a support network. Most people that are exonerated of crimes and released from prison don't have that, and they struggle pretty mightily. And so John founded a nonprofit called Resurrection After Exoneration, which is a reentry program that helps other people that have been exonerated from crimes get life skills, figure out how to work and hold a job. It provides residential opportunities for a limited number of people. And so John, really against all odds, is out there today helping other people make the kind of transition that he had to make when he left prison. And I'm just going to show you a couple of pictures. This first picture is a picture when they dedicated the Resurrection After Exoneration house, which is the house in which the exonerees live. They have put together this production called Voices of Innocence, and this is a picture that's taken from that. John is the person, as you're looking at this picture, the second person from the right, the shorter gentleman. That's John. He does have short hair today. But what's amazing to me is John spent 18 years of his life in prison, 14 of which on death row. When you're in death row in Louisiana, you are in a 6-foot by 9-foot cell. You are the only person in that cell. You can't see the other inmates. You are in that cell for 23 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you're let out into a little exercise area alone for an hour a day. And that's your existence. And for him to have been able to go through all of this for 2 crimes that he didn't commit and to come out of jail not only not bitter, but focused on how he could help other people is really a remarkable thing. I want to leave you with just a couple of questions to think about. The first is, what if the investigator hadn't found the blood report? Think about this. And I know this from my days at EA and what I currently do. There are times when you're going through tedious materials. And we had asked her to just go through literally thousands and thousands of pages of microfiche at the New Orleans Crime Lab. What if she just lost her attention? What if she was dozing off when she got to the critical document? What if? I think we all know what the answer is. John Thompson would be dead today. And so think about a system where life and death depends on that. Second question, how do we balance the legitimate need for safety and law and order? I mean, these are important things for us, right? We need to have a police department and prosecutors that are tough on crime. But how do we balance that with the rights of the innocent? This was a case where the balance was completely out of whack. And so I don't have an answer to this, but it's something that you should think about. Third question, what is the impact of the death penalty on the relationship between our government and our society on the one hand, and the family of the convicted defendant? We all legitimately focus on the rights of the victim and the victim's family, and that's appropriate. One thing that really hadn't occurred to me until this case is the impact on the defendant's family. And as I thought about how John's two sons, about his mother, and about how they were going to think about the country in which they lived, when that country was going to execute their son and their father, and how they would feel about the country where they live in and the society in which they live in, and how that anger would ripple into the community on a broader level, I think it's something that's worth thinking about. And then finally, what can you learn from John Thompson and his ability to have gone through all of what he went through, the horror, the literal horror that he went through for 18 years, to be able to come out a stronger person who is not bitter, who's focused on helping other people. And it has something to do with the strength of the human spirit. And I know for me, the most satisfying thing for me about this entire representation, I'm going to close with this thought, is not just that we saved John Thompson's life, but that John Thompson somehow found it within himself to put all this behind and to try to help other people and be a better person as a result of it. I think there's something that we all can learn from that. And I know for myself, if he can overcome that and keep a positive attitude and move forward, I think we all can do the same thing. So John Thompson is somebody who makes me incredibly proud. I've learned so much from him. I hope you can learn something from him and his experience. And I thank you for your time today.
Please be seated. Thank you very much, Gordon. It will not surprise you that there's going to be a movie made about what you just heard. And I think now that you've seen Gordon, you can well understand that I guess it's Matt Damon who's been chosen to portray him. And we have somebody special with us today, Gordon's mother. Would you stand, please, and let us recognize you?